Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. And have we already seen the deal of this summer transfer window? Alexis MacAllister joining Liverpool is not a surprise, but the surprise is the price he's going for. Incredible value for Liverpool. And again, you can say what you like about Liverpool, but their recruitment when they do it is normally a star. We'll also be talking about Chelsea and Ugarte. We spoke about that over the weekend. The deal has collapsed. It's here we go, but it's PSG, it's not Chelsea. What's going on there? Is it something that Chelsea need to worry about, or is it just the start of the summer? There'll be plenty more opportunities. There should be, but you know, Chelsea, I don't know. There's an underlying issue at Chelsea that Pochettino needs to sort out. And of course, the dream, Karim Benzema, goes to Saudi Arabia. It's not the dream, but it's a lot of money for him. He won't be coming to the Premier League. He won't be staying at Real Madrid for another year. But let's fly straight into it. Deal of the summer is hard to predict because we're basically reacting to the first hot day of the summer and saying, that's the best day of the summer. Well, of course it is. There's loads more to come. But this deal from Liverpool for Alexis MacAllister from Brighton is incredible by its value. I think that we live in a world now where you can buy a player and you automatically look at the price. You know, Man United have had it with Anthony, they've had it with Harry Maguire, we've seen Harry Maguire, we've seen it with other players as well. It's never the player's fault what they get sold for. That's the deal between two clubs. You know, Leicester got 80 million for Harry Maguire, they should get a medal for it. But there was this belief that Liverpool were going to have to pay £70 million for Alexis MacAllister, which I think many people would say, really good player, £70 million, a lot of money. He's not even going for 60. He's going for way less than that. There's a release clause in there, and Fabrizio Romano is saying that it's way less than 60 million. So what's way less than 60 million? Well, I don't know, but it sounds like it could be as less as 45, maybe 50, which I think is a reasonable price for Alexis MacAllister from Brighton in a very inflated market. And this, what I would say, look, I'm no fan of Liverpool, not as a United fan, works both ways, we get that. But we're analysing transfers here. Liverpool need 2-3 midfielders. They were deep in negotiations for Bellingham for most of last season, and they stepped out and said no. And they said no because it was going to cost them most of their transfer budget, you know, north of £100 million to get Jude Bellingham. And they backed off. And it frustrated some Liverpool fans, understandably. But if you get MacAllister and another two midfielders for the same price, and they're good players, it doesn't matter how good Jude Bellingham is. If you can get three really good players for the price it would have cost you Jude Bellingham, Liverpool need quantity as well as quality. And I'm not saying that MacAllister's not better than Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is a fantastic talent, but he's one man. And you can get three players. And Liverpool desperately, when they're trying to close the gap with Man City, they need quantity. You look at how Man City rotate their team. It's incredible. And Klopp needs to be able to do that as well. So I think that Liverpool, on the face of it, have made the right choice. And it'll be very interesting to see where they go next. They've been linked to Thuram from France, Kone, Mason Mount's been linked to them. There's a lot of midfielders being linked to Liverpool. And it's going to be really interesting to see what they do next. Because if you're getting Alexis MacAllister for around 50 million, you've got a lot more money to spend on other players. And it will be about quantity. And we know that this summer transfer window is going to be so much, probably more than ever. I think Man City have set the standard so high that if you want to go near them, then you've got to go big this summer. You've got to start building out squads. And we are in a unique summer where there are a lot of players. It won't always be like this. There's a lot of midfielders about. There's a lot of centre-backs about. There's a lot of strikers about. It won't always be like this. And players and clubs need a lot of, there's a lot of transfers to be done. So I think it's going to be an incredible summer. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. And I think clubs are having to jump early. So Liverpool, Alexis MacAllister, give us your thoughts on that. I think it's the deal of the summer so far, obviously. But it could end up being the deal of the summer in August. Because if they've got him for less than £50 million, he's had a fantastic season. It's a fantastic team. Brighton, obviously there's a release clause there. Some people might say, well, why didn't Chelsea get him? Why didn't Man United get him? I think it comes down to the fact that Liverpool have sold. He wants to go to Liverpool. Even as a United fan, I can accept that. I think we were interested. You can't say that we didn't try and get him at such a cheap price when you're trying to get Mason Mount for more. So logically, it's Liverpool have done a better job at recruiting him than anybody else. They've obviously sold him the club and the move more than anyone else. He's chosen Liverpool. It's as simple as that. Talking about other clubs, Chelsea, we spoke over the weekend about Manuel Ugarte of Sporting Lisbon, defensive midfielder, whatever you want to call him, monster, absolute monster in relation to tackles, interceptions, energy. Looked like he was going to go to Chelsea. We were speaking about this, if you've got Enzo Fernandez, Ugarte, you get Casido as well. I know Chelsea aren't in Europe next year. It's a new journey with Pochettino, but that would be a good start. It stopped. Chelsea pulled out. He's gone to PSG. This is apparently about wages, which is interesting because Chelsea haven't had a problem doing these sort of deals up until now. For Chelsea to allegedly be moving out of this deal because of wage demands, they've got every right to do that. Of course they have. No club should be held to ransom if they don't want to. But this is the same Chelsea side that were chucking ridiculous money and ridiculous wages at players in January that may not be part of their future. I'm not saying Mudryk won't be part of their future or anybody else they bought in January, but they were throwing the money around and now they're suddenly not. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd probably look at this and go, it's typical, isn't it? We throw loads of money in January, most of that doesn't work, and now when we're trying to rebuild, there's a player that actually would be really good, and we're not willing to go that little bit extra. It's interesting, and it's a good signing for PSG, who, look, I don't know what's going to happen with PSG. Obviously, Qatar, Al Thani, Man United. Is it the end of the PSG project? Well, these sort of signings would suggest not. They are going out buying players like Asensio, Ugarte, and they're looking at others as well. For Chelsea, it's back to the drawing board. Like I say, there's plenty of midfielders out there. We've mentioned Thuram, we've mentioned Manu Kone, we've mentioned Casido. There's Declan. There's lots of midfielders out there, and I'm sure Chelsea will move on to the next target. But Ugarte will not be joining Chelsea. He will be joining PSG. What do you think about that, Chelsea fans? Is that something to worry about? There does seem to be an underlying issue at Chelsea that they need to resolve. Mason Mount looking to go. Kovacic looking to go. New manager. Ugarte not coming. Nagelsmann didn't want to come. Is there just something at Chelsea, probably somewhere on the board, recruitment, that just needs professionalising a bit better? Is there just a little bit of a haphazard approach still at that football club that needs to settle down? They've got the money, they've got the intent, but there just seems to be a little bit of a shaky approach to deals that lets people just slip away sometimes. I don't know, but I wouldn't say it's going to derail Chelsea's transfer window. But we saw last summer that even with a month to go, they'll go and buy players. But I'm quite happy as a United fan that Ugarte is not going to Chelsea. I would have liked him to not come to a Premier League club anyway. I think he's a good player. And I would be remiss of me not to mention Benzema. He is going to play in Saudi Arabia. There was rumours that this was going to happen. Large money to go and play there. Ronaldo's already there. Benzema's going there. There's talk that Messi will go there. I think it's really interesting. We've seen the MLS, we've seen the Chinese league in the past recruiting players, but we've never seen... Look, Benzema could have stayed at Real Madrid for his final year and he still would be their number 9, and then Mbappe probably came in next summer. Does this mean Kane will go? We'll have to wait and see. But I think Benzema going to Saudi Arabia, if Messi goes there, there'll be a lot of other players who start going there. And at what point... I don't think the Saudi Arabian league is going to kick off and compete. Probably not even with the MLS, to be fair. But it's interesting when you're getting players like that going over there. Hell of a lot of money as well. But Benzema basically done. I don't know what happens with Benzema now. I don't know whether he does a couple of years there and then comes back and plays, or whether he retires. Is he retired from French international duty? Effectively, if you want to see Benzema now, you've got to watch Saudi Arabian football, haven't you? Ronaldo is still playing for Portugal. So, look, you can't begrudge a player of that quality. He's done everything there is in the game, wants to go and earn some good money at the end of his career. The money's there, why not take it? But it is fascinating because it's a little bit different to Ronaldo, who had sort of burnt his bridges with Manchester United. Benzema probably would have been the starting number 9 for Real Madrid next year, and he'll be playing in Saudi Arabia. Anyway, get your comments in below. What are you thinking about this MacAllister deal? It looks really, 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 really good value for money. Chelsea fans, how are you feeling about the Ugarte transfer collapse? And maybe you've got some thoughts on Benzema as well. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Remember, we've got lots of content for you throughout the summer. We'll be reacting to loads of transfers. And we've got the Champions League watch-along on Saturday night. I'll speak to you in a bit.